Here, Zahi, the Dormition Church. All right, it's a Dormition Church. It's a Catholic German church. And before we talk about the story, let me tell you that at the 4th century, every part of Mount of Olives was huge, and part of a huge church that included so many things like the room of David, the room of the Last Supper, and the house of Mary. Now, for the Catholic, it's easy because you're supposed to know it. But for the Protestant, it's a problem because it's not part of the Bible. The story of Mary, we want to know what's happened to her before Jesus was born,
yes.
And after.
Yes, exactly.
And there is a book of the Evangelion of St. James, who actually tells us a story, but it's not part of the New Testament. You won't find it there. Mary, for example.
That's one of the Dead Sea Scrolls, isn't it?
No, it's not. But it's a book from 2nd century that we found. It exists, but it's not part of the Dead Sea. What we know is that Mary was here at Pentecost. That's the Bible mention. But then, thank God. See, I'm right. And then, yeah, it's open. She was walking here after Jesus already ascended into heaven. And she was walking at top of Mount of Olives, and we saw Mount of Olives, when an angel came to her and said, "Mary, you do have 3 days to live." Then she went back to her house at Mount Zion, and she asked all the disciples that were here to come and be with her. And after the 3rd day, she actually fell asleep / died. Why fell asleep? Because she was sinless. She couldn't die. Then, in that matter, Jesus took her soul immediately. And then they bury her next to the Church of Garden of Gethsemane, when Jesus was betrayed by Judas, which will be for the next time. And after the 3rd day, Jesus took her body as well. Then the sarcophagus there is empty. Now, we saw their church from the Austrian Hospice. Remember? Yes. Top pyramid and the tower next to it. Yes. Then let's go in. It's a new church. It's from 1900. Let's go in and let's go down to the grotto to see the place that she fell asleep. And if I will be able to talk, I will talk. But if not, I will talk to the video, and you will hear it later on. It's a beautiful church. No heads, please. Then we enter into the Dormition. Look how beautiful is the church. Now, in every church, you're going to see Mary holding Jesus' baby. True? Remember it. You might see something very similar but different. Then let's go to the grotto. No, we're the only one. Before we're going to visit Mary, let's see something else, all right? Then please come closer. Now, I will ask you to do something, but only for 2 minutes, and then look back at me, all right? Let's look at that, and then look back at me. Back at me. You saw Mary holding Jesus. Is it true? Look again. Yes, true. This is Jesus holding the soul of Mary. Right? She fell asleep. Now I can see the disciples here and there. Until 1965, can you see the lower part?
Yes.
There's someone that actually has got kind of an incense.
Yes.
That used to be another figure here of a Jew that tried to destroy, it seemed to to well, to throw Mary from the bed. Kind of something very bad. But from 1965, the Pope saying enough is enough, we must delete that sin, it's never happened. Then now you cannot see the Jew anymore, but you can see the body of Mary, and then the soul of Mary as well. Then, now when we know it.
So this was actually in the painting?
Yes, it used to be. You can actually, at the Greek Orthodox.
And they painted over in 1965.
At the Greek Orthodox scenes, you can see the Jew, and the minute he wanted to, I don't know, to hurt Mary, the one with the lamp, actually he had a saw in his hand, and he cut the hands of the Jews. Then you can actually look at the same scenes in the Greek Orthodox churches.
Do you think that's part of like the anti-Semitism?
Totally.
History or
Totally.
Christian church?
Totally. No doubt about it. And let's go to see Mary herself. Look how beautiful she is. The mother of every Christian. And what is beautiful here is not only her. Look at the mosaic wall. You can see so many figures of figuration of Mary. Images that actually tells us that Mary will come soon. For example, you can see here Eve, you can see Esther, you can see Ruth, and they actually telling us that Mary, the sinless woman, will arrive one day, and of course Jesus is in the middle. That church is dedicated to Mary, which is totally Catholic thing. Protestant, for example, when I'm taking Protestant here, some of them say, I'm waiting outside, I'm not entering into a non-Christian church, because churches supposed to be of Jesus and not of stories that are not part of the Bible. Then that's why it was easy for me to bring you here, because you have no problem to see it. Yeah, there are so many differences. It's beautiful here, isn't it? It was worth it. But if it's okay by you, let's continue up. I want to show you a room that will summarize the tour, and it's in their church. They'll take some pictures of you, and I will keep that video on until, all right, I will follow you. Prefiguration of Mary. The Dormition Church, Jerusalem, Mount Zion. Yes. I hate to say King David. Yes.